But if C++ isn't the name of those aliens in their language, then we should probably try to put the name into something very honorable, like medicine, or art, or better yet, a mixture of the two, an anatomically correct diagram. And not just any diagram, a diagram of one of the most honorable animals there is, the bear. I think everyone would get into C++ if it was a highly detailed, stupidly organized diagram of a bear. We start at the legs. It's clear using our patented C++ style of ursine anatomy analysis that a bear's legs are exactly the same as that of a bobcat if you just inject it with steroids. So if we intend to make a Frankenstein creature, that's where we start. And then, we have the most important part of any creature, the butt. Now, every butt is entirely unique, much like a fingerprint. The butt of a bear falls quite between the buttocks of a deer and a massive dog. This will result in our Frankenbear having an appropriate amount of butt detail. The arms are an expertly crafted mixture of a bodybuilder and a chicken. Now, this might seem unlikely, but do it at home with your DIY genetic splicer arms kit. Mix a bodybuilder and a chicken, and you'll see the connection. The torso of a bear is infamous for being thin and bendable, so we can get this kind of imitation from a snake. Wrap it a little bit in fur you might get from a fish, and we have your bear torso ready. The head of a bear is akin to that of an anorexic eagle mixed with a boar who has had a concussion. With this final step, we can bring the head to our beautiful creature once and for all. But before that, we must re-examine the most important part of our C++ Frankenbear, the butt. To add further detail, we should sprinkle in a little house cat and a pinch of shark butt, and we're just about good to go. So to create our perfect C++ bear anatomy chart, we should make a creature combining bobcat, deer, dog, human, chicken, snake, eagle, boar, cat, and shark DNA. Put it all together and we get... Oh god. Oh god. We should probably think of something else for C++, shouldn't we? Well, we wanted to do something respect-worthy, so how about we go to an integral job, building the spine of every nation, the farmers. Bum 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 bum. C++ farming techniques, coming right up. The best farming tool has to be scythes, and since style matters more than any substance, we should use scythes for anything and everything. If you need to cut grass, use a scythe. If you need to feed the cows, use a scythe. Repairing the tractor is a scythe's playground. Only one tool for the job when you need to water the flowers. Is that a thing farmers do? No one watching this will know what a hard day's work is. Why am I asking you? That would make it quite dangerous to do cow tipping. Granted, you could just not tip cows, but who's gonna do that? Not tipping cows is against the Geneva Convention. So when you use the scythe, yes, you would only be able to tip each one once before they die from the scythe, but at the very least, you could get the steaks pre-sliced. But maybe we should forego the old ways of farming with our new C++ style. Because now, we have the genius idea of gecko farming. It may sound unreasonable, but geckos are the perfect type of farm animal. They can pull any kind of farm equipment, they provide eggs and meat, and are easily trained or herded. Not to mention the harvest of their farming is valuable. Gecko milk is surging the market on TikTok. You know, the thing is, you're not even sure if I'm joking or not. And we can innovate not just the process of chemical distribution and seed planting, but also watering the crops and providing feed to the animals. This is crop dusting. I'm an expert on crop dusting. I promote crop dusting in all corners of life, and think that crop dusting should be the main practice in all industries. I work at a perfume factory, and I'm the best employee because of how much crop dusting I do. Perhaps we can have C++ be in reference to something more easily put into a hobby. I know, the study of ancient Aboriginal travel patterns during the habitation of Australia. That's what I've been doing as a hobby. What do you do? the study of ancient Aboriginal travel patterns during the habitation of Australia. We can just look at what Australia was like back then, because it was very different. Just calling it Australia doesn't really accurately present how the landmass looked when there were lower sea levels. The landmass was mainly just called the Sahul Strait, a large landmass that included Tasmania and Papua New Guinea. The reason it's called Sahul is because it stands for Super Australia hatching up land. I guess they learned from Big Brother Britain. But even with all that land expanse, it wasn't landlocked to Asia through Indonesia. This means that early settlers needed to sail between Bali to Lombok and Timor to Sahul. This would have been one of the earliest instances of seafaring, something so radically interesting, it's obviously worthy of being called C++. One of the most wonderful parts of this research is the strong difference between Asian animals and Australian animals. You ever notice how Indonesia isn't a mixture of Asian and Australian animals, and how kangaroos don't exist anywhere off Australia? This is called the Wallace Line, a limit of the fauna throughout the area. Fucking A, right? Who needs Game of Thrones when you have anthropologic historical geography? And there's even more. A guy named Mayror, at least I think that's how you pronounce Mayror, it's Latin, right? Added onto the work of Wallace and created an updated line for what the limit of fauna was, while himself making it clear that he did not approve of the idea of a small hybrid zone that blends from one fauna to the next. Radical! We even have the story of the Tasmania separation from the mainland, a tale as old as time, if time was 13.5 to 8,000 years ago. You'll never believe the story. One time the water levels rose and the ocean separated Tasmania. That's it, that's the story. Okay. I know that wasn't very interesting to you, so I've decided to come up with something actually more action-y for C++. Why not go for some good old nuclear launch codes? Nothing bad could come from having a 3-digit launch code. You would never be able to decrypt it. The Nazis or whoever would be expecting a long, complicated code, but it's just C++. No one would think that 2 of the 3 letters would just be the same symbol. To be honest, whenever a 3-digit code comes up, 420 is the only one you think, not C++. Although I am worried about the way it would be used. Would we really want the world to end through a nuke launched by the code word C++? That's almost as embarrassing as the prime piece of evidence for a murderer's execution being the numbers 11037. Do you have to do the C++ math from earlier to do the aiming of the nuke? If you must calculate the angles of the bomb, then you would need to add up to 420 degrees or something. Does anyone remember that joke, even if it was in the same video? Also, would that be true? Because I have no idea about the math involved in launching a bomb. But the full truth is, I would love if the apocalypse was caused by a bomb launched at 420 degrees and launched with the word C++. Such an incredibly organized and intimidating bomb would have the yield to destroy all of the world in one blast, making Tsar Bomba look like a pimple pop. Then we would have to live in a C++ apocalypse, brought on by the hellish truth that nuclear annihilation can only be prevented if all nuclear weapons magically disappeared, or if something else killed us sooner. This is the depressing reality of self-destruction humanity perpetually resists, despite spending the fleeting time we've clawed to save ourselves, building the weapons that will ultimately be our demise. So pencils, huh? We could have pencils called C++, a pencil brand. Everybody knows that pencils are where the real money is. We just need to get the education system to become solely reliant on our writing product, and then we've got the world in our grasp. It's not like the pencil industry has many rival competitors, it's the apex of monopolies. We here at C++ Pencils are the expert of wood pencils. Our wooden pencils range from beautifully crafted mahogany to the wood of sawdust used to clean up vomit crammed into a blender. And the truth here is that I'm just listing wood that I know about from Minecraft. Oh, we have acacia pencils. That's a thing, right?